Can't complain, brother. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Enjoying life, man. Enjoying life. You know, that's part of the job is to enjoy your life a little, right?
I love it. I noticed. This is we're going back to back on the collared shirts. You must be stepping up the game a little bit.
Man, I knew somebody was going to ask me that.
You knew it was gonna mess with you, right? I'm surprised Rick ain't here to start it.
Well, it's all right. I don't mind you asking.
Okay.
I used to work in an investment banking firm as a broker, and that required me to doll up, you know.
Yeah.
Jacket and everything, and got tired of it, man. And then before that, I was a salesman, had to dress up. Before that, I was a real estate investor and owned an insurance agency, and that required me to wear a dress up. Before that, I was a minister and I had to dress up. So now I pretty much almost never dress up. So it's like, I realize I've got this Life 360 app. Have you heard of that? Life 360? It's like a tracking device for all your family members.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's like you can keep track of where your kids are and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And it was my wife's idea. She wanted to track the teens, and so everybody agreed to it. We all put the app on our phones. The only thing is it says on there how long you've been at the last location that you were at, right?
Okay.
So it'll say something like, Justin hasn't left the house in 7 days. And then I realized I've been wearing sweatpants for 7 days straight, you know, like in a white tee.
Right.
In fact, the white tee that I have on underneath this.
Right.
So
well, you're not alone. You know, Rona has us all in that same scenario.
Well, I'm just trying to feel like I'm doing something other than wearing sweatpants. It's a good life, man. It really is. It's yeah. So I'm trying to, but I am still technically wearing sweatpants.
Okay. All right.
It's just I got this button down on. It's crazy, but check this out. Yeah, check this out. I got my.
Yeah, like the sportscasters, right? They have on a shirt and tie and shorts and tennis shoes underneath the desk.
Yeah. Oh, I got on some tennies.
Yeah.
short socks.
Yeah.
That's funny. You've had to dress up a bunch of your life too, right? I mean,
yeah. I got a pretty robust suit wardrobe and shirts and ties, and I mean, I like dressing up. I'm good with it.
I like it too. Makes me feel different just a little.
Yeah.
But you know, that's partly because, and I know this has nothing to do with real estate, but this is like maybe important because sometimes people need to come up in their thinking a little. I used to just buy clothes. Like I didn't care much as long as it looked okay.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I could buy clothes, and if you're smart, you can do it relatively inexpensively that make you feel good, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think women have that kind of like an instinctive thing, and I think that's part of their shopping. You know, women love to shop, is because they feel good and they do almost like a costume, right? Like you show up in the world and have a different feel and have a different way that you want the world to respond to you and how you want to present yourself. And it took me a long time to really, you know, like get it like that, because I still hate shopping. I'm looking to do a shopping service.
Yeah, no kidding. That sounds like fun. I was listening to a guy talk about that the other day.
Yeah,
it sounds really good.
Yeah, I found a fashion consultant girl that kind of, you know, asked me a bunch of questions about my style, what's the look I want, and you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I do a lot of shopping online, so I don't have to go there.
Exactly.
I hate going there.
Yeah.
Today I got a case study I put together for everybody. Hey Jessica, I saw you in here and then you dropped out. Thanks for putting a nice note in the chat and everything. Anybody out there watching too, I want to say thanks for watching, and appreciate you joining in. I am going to make this public today because it's a case study, and I figure it's probably pretty impersonal. I've tried to hide everyone's sensitive data. But we have any questions in the VIP? Victor, thanks for being here. Tim, thanks for being here. You guys got anything you need to talk about today? Any questions or anything you'd like to field right off the bat?
Nothing for me.
Okay, dude. Good to see you, man. I got a one-on-one call with you tonight.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it. Okay, well, I'm going to start doing this more often, where I share deals that I'm doing or have done recently, just to show people exactly what it is, so they can see it with their own eyes and understand maybe better what they're looking for too. So let me share the screen here, and I will jump right into it, guys. Let's see here. Share screen. Photos. Okay. Y'all see that? Yep. Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, see it now.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Now, look, this is a little tiny. It looks tiny. It's not too tiny. It's 1,250-ish square feet, something like that. Has a basement in it that's finished. So I think that's where some of the square feet comes from. But this is a deal that I found, me and my team, and we found it on Automated REI. I'll show you the message I sent out and everything. I'll show you the response. And this one I found in Iowa, in a town called Waterloo. Okay. So Waterloo, Iowa, small little bread and butter. This is what I would consider bread and butter, guys. You've heard me talk about the fair market value range on these being something like between 100 and 250,000. That's being my bread and butter. That's middle America. That's the blue collar America. So what we have here is just that, a blue collar America bread and butter deal. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage. You see over here on the right, see the garage? Nice driveway and everything. It is a 1-car garage, but still, nevertheless, a garage. So not quite the bread and butter that I talk about in some of the videos I've made, where it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. But again, really close and nice. And look at this clean looking neighborhood, clean house. Everything looks good. So the asking price, let me see if I can change screens here again. On Zillow, it was off market on Zillow, but you could see that the Zestimate is 178,092. Okay. We were talking in terms of 179. Okay. So me and the homeowner, this is a lead. I'll get into more how we found the property, but this is a lead that we got from Automated REI, the virtual assistant pre-screened this one. And then I personally got on the phone with this homeowner due to the severity of their motivation. Okay. And I'll talk more about that too. But you can see the Zestimate was 178. Rent Zestimate's $1,200 a month. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I said 2-bath earlier. It's 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,228 square feet. This is what it looks like. Okay. So today's fair market value, if you see this green label up here at the top, today's fair market value is somewhere around 179,000. That's about what Zillow is saying as well. So that's what we checked into it. We found out everything looks about 179. The homeowner was also very willing to take 179. Okay. All right. So the homeowner was asking all that this property's worth, maybe even a smidgen more. Okay. I don't mind that. That's perfectly okay for the technique that we're executing here. Okay. So I put this house under contract with the homeowner. Okay. Well, let's talk about the marketing first. This is the message that I sent out. I saw your house on sale. Hi, I'm Justin, an investor. I saw your property listing on the internet. Could you consider a long lease with a strong tenant, then sell for your asking price, 24 to 36 months? Yes, no, maybe. Very interested. Okay, now what do you think the reply might be? I thought it was very odd, the reply. The reply was this: I won't consider anything under 1 year. Isn't that weird? You don't get that response that often. You'll get yeses and you'll get maybes and you'll get which property and you'll get, 12 months and all this. But this particular guy said, I won't consider anything under 1 year. So we were totally intrigued by this lead. Virtual assistant called, went through the pre-screen form. It's like a script kind of. It's not a sales script. It's just a information gathering and a rapport building call. So once the virtual assistant pre-screened this one, it was passed along to me. I won't consider anything under a year. I thought, this sounds like a motivated seller for sure. So I sent them, after talking to him, using the Guts sales system, all right, that we talk about all the time here. I sent him this lease option agreement memo. Okay. His name is Brian. Her name is Lisa. It's a married couple. Brian, and this is not the first time I've ran into this story, guys. I've actually heard this one, maybe two other times in my career, and I've been doing this for a long time now. I'll go back to sharing the screen and wrap that up for you here in a minute. But I want to tell you the story of this homeowner. This homeowner, Brian and Lisa. Brian, they have 3 kids. One's Brian's from a former relationship, and that's a boy. He's older. One's a girl that's Lisa's from a former relationship, and that one is older, so like teens. I don't know the exact age. And then they have one together, so they have 3 kids. And he's an electrician, and she's I don't honestly know what she does or if she does anything. I think she does some kind of crafts or something on the side, from what I can tell, but I don't know what that is. It might be bracelets or making candles or soap or something. I don't know, but he's an electrician. She does something. Now here's their motivation. Now, isn't it interesting, guys? I want you to notice the message I sent them on the text machine was pretty simple. Okay. Analyzing that property deal for 179. That's pretty simple. That's what they want. That's what they'd be comfortable with. I honestly couldn't tell you what they owe on it, although I know he insinuated that they have paid it down to some extent. So it's not like they owe more than 179. Okay. So 179 is okay. And the story, I want you to notice that I've talked to these people enough to know on the pre-screen form, the VA did, it showed that they were pretty motivated, but it didn't have the full story. Okay. It didn't have much of the story or any of it really. But when I talked to the guy, because of the Guts system that we use here, we were able to kind of break down the barriers and the walls and get into his real motivation. Okay. The real motivation on this deal is that the wife's daughter from a previous relationship has tried to commit suicide. I think they said 5 times. I've heard this one other time in my career very strange, but yet a reality for some families. Okay. I don't know what the background is or what the major malfunction may be in their family or previous family. We didn't go into all that. I'm not a psychiatrist, but he said that she had tried to kill herself 5 times and that they were really, really, really worried about her. And so they were wanting to move. They got her a place in some kind of a home that can help her where she'll be staying temporarily. Okay. Not like committed for life or anything, but like they're putting her in a hospital of some kind. And so in order to feel good about that as a family, they need to move too. But the place they're going is I can't remember if he said just under 2 hours or over 2 hours. It's a couple hours away. Okay. So they're trying to find a place to go there, but have this one to deal with because they live here currently. So they have technically, they have a family problem. They have a medical problem or emotional or mental or whatever it is. And then they also have a 2 payment problem. Okay. Like I said, she works crafts. Okay. And he works as an electrician. So he probably is union, probably makes pretty good money. But probably not enough for him to be able to afford 2 houses. Okay. So you can see the motivation. I want you to notice that I know all of this from my conversation with them on the telephone. Okay. If you stay all business, you don't get into this, right? If you don't get into this, you have no emotional momentum to close. We talked about that last week in depth. So you're going to want to slow down in this qualification section and see if there's any real emotional pay dirt. You have no idea what these people may be going through. Okay. In this particular case, they're going through all kinds of hell. I feel sorry for them. Okay. But as a family, they're trying to make good decisions and do the right thing. They're trying to get her in a hospital. They're trying to get over there where they can be with her every day. Okay. And so they're open to the idea of a lease option because it's a quick solution. And in this case, it turns out to be a very quick solution because I'll go back to sharing screen. Okay. Let's see here. I got to find it. There it is. Sharing screen again. So I sent them this lease option agreement memo and they filled it out. I'm not going to show you the one they filled out because after all, I don't want everybody having their private information, but got some pictures of the house from them. You can see it's a cute little place. Nothing special about it. It's just a regular house. Nice kitchen though. Okay. So things look nice and they're ready to move. Okay. They are ready to move. I've started advertising this property on Facebook Marketplace and Rent Links immediately because of the seriousness of these folks' motivation. All right. I had in the first day, no kidding, I had 17 tenant buyers hit me up. Prospective tenant buyers. All right. So 17 ends up being, in this case, 3 or 4 that actually seemed really interested would drive by the property. Okay. We asked them if they'd driven by. We asked them if they had something down, if they wanted to. Actually, first question was, do you want to rent something or do you want to own something? Because this is a rent to own opportunity. Okay. Not just a rental. Okay. Yeah. So out of 17 in the first day, and since then we've had 3, 4, 5 a day coming in. This was last week. We started this. So yeah, it's just been a few days, not very many. So out of the 3 or 4, one is really aggressive. Okay. And her name is Pam. Okay. And she's got a husband or a boyfriend, actually, I think. Boyfriend, his name is Jerry. Okay. So Pam and Jerry are prospective tenant buyers. Their story sounds good. They love the place. They want to move in. She's a dental hygienist at some dental office somewhere pretty close to there. And he actually works for some kind of industrial plant doing something factory like. Okay. But they have saved up somehow, okay, a bunch of money. All right. They say they have 12,000 to put down. But there's more to that. I'll share that with you in a minute. So what we sent them the appointment to view property confirmation memo to both the tenant buyer and the seller. They both signed off on it. So they both agree to be there. Everybody agrees to not outflank me and take my deal, right? And screw me out of it. All that stuff is in the Lease Options 2.0 course. Okay. So if you're wondering where some of these forms are, that's definitely where it's at. All right. I love these banners. They're so cool. But the lease Options 2.0 course is where you find those documents. Okay. Now, with that being said, here's what happened with Pam and Jerry. Pam and Jerry said to me, they said, we don't have, let's go back and look at the numbers again. I want to show you the numbers because we'll break down this deal now that I went through the whole story. Okay. I'm sharing screen again. We're going to fly back to the previous video. Previous pictures. Okay, here it is. All right. So remember, I contracted this deal with Brian for $179,000. It's about what it's worth, fair market value. Sometimes in this business, we call it ARV, and I know what you're talking about, but technically, because it's a pretty house, it doesn't need repair. It's not after repair value. It's fair market value. Okay. FMV, fair market value. It's $179,000 that we contracted it with Brian for $179,000 on the lease option agreement memo, the one I was just showing you. All right. Now I marked it up to $196,000 in my mind, right? Because that's 10%. I just add 17.9 to 179 to 179. I come up with 196-ish. Okay. That's how I did it. So I know that I have a potential of getting like a $17,000 down payment here. But in this case, Pam and Jerry, they came to the table. This was the second day that we had it marketed and said they wanted the house. Okay. Now they still have to go through the background checks and all that stuff. And we're about wrapping that up now. But I told them that it requires a down payment. What are they working with? And they said they had 12,000. Well, that's not the 17 that I was hoping. All right. So, but in this case, 12,000 is still pretty sweet. All right. I'm only going to have to give Brian in the house. I'm only going to have to give him the first month's rent and 1 month non-refundable. Okay. $1,200 a month. All right. So not too bad. And actually the tenant buyer, Pam and Jerry, are going to give the first month's rent right out of their pocket. So really it's only costing me one payment, $1,200. So they're going to put 12,000 down. I said, okay, I took the deal. I said, that sounds fine. But we have a problem. They don't have $12,000 today. And I was like, what do you mean? They said, well, we won't have it until Friday. Is this okay? We'll put some money down today to hold the house. I said, yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. Put some money down today to hold the house and then give me the difference on Friday and we'll do the paperwork on Friday. Okay. So they gave me $2,400. All right. Up front to hold the house. All right. Now on Friday, they're going to give me the difference of 12,000 minus 2,400. Okay. And we'll sign the paperwork. Then they'll be prepared to move in on the 1st. Okay. So this ends up being a $179,000 deal that I marked up to 196, but ended up selling for 191 because I didn't collect. I'm not trying to collect more out of them. I just want this to be a quick, easy deal because this family has an emergency. Okay. So I'm going to take 191 because that's 179 plus 12 that they have right in cash. That's 191. So 191,000 is the new assignment price. $1,200 a month for 36 months. Because remember, he said he wanted longer than a year. I don't know, whatever. Let's do it. Okay. Maybe they're expecting this to, maybe they're hoping the guy will default and they'll get back in this house in 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. It's a good deal for everybody right now. So $12,000 option fee. That's the deal. That's the dealio. All right, guys. Case study. I hope you realize that these deals are all over America in these small towns, in these little bitty podunky, blue collar, working man areas. Okay. That's who I relate to. Maybe that's why I love fishing there. I don't know. Saturday, we have Benton Middleton from Lease Options Only. He's from Louisville, Kentucky, but he's coming on Saturday to talk about how to bag these really huge monster deals like $800,000, $1 million, $2 million, whatever. I like those. Those are fine. I've got nothing in the world wrong with those. You should be doing those too. But my bread and butter is these little houses like the ones I just showed you right there in these little small towns that you would never go to for any reason unless you knew somebody that lived there and you were going to go for a visit. There's no excuse to go there, but there's good working class folks there. Okay. And they've got nice little houses there. And the property values there are oftentimes, like you just saw right there. When I looked that property up, I was amazed that property was totally like 179,000. I thought it would be less than that from the looks of it. Okay. Not so. Okay. So property values are pretty strong in some of these areas too, and they stay strong in some of these areas. Even during a recession or a downturn or whatever you want to call it, a lot of them stay pretty steady. Okay. So don't write off those middle class areas. Remember my saying is I'd rather have 100 monkeys than a couple big elephants. Right. And yeah, I love the elephants. You got to have both to have a circus. Okay. But I'd rather have the 100 monkeys first because I can count on successes more frequently with these. Okay. And in a faster pace. Plus two, if all you have in your basket is one giant ostrich egg, right? And you drop your basket, you might lose that ostrich egg for sure. But if you've got a basket with a dozen little Cornish hen eggs, now you've got maybe a chance you saved a couple of them. Okay. Maybe. All right. And that happens. I've dropped the basket before. I've lost deals before. I've had people back out on me at the last minute. Guess what might happen on this one? Pam and Jerry might come to me on Friday and say, hey, we were going to get that money from grandma, and grandma, she got Alzheimer's and she forgot she was going to give it to us. And now she won't. Okay. I don't know. You never know. I do have their $2,400 though, that I'll keep. Okay. So I will make that, but you never know. Deals sometimes fall apart for reasons outside the realm of your control. Ask any realtor and they will tell you without hesitation, that sometimes it just happens. Okay. Sometimes you get the numbers wrong. Sometimes the neighborhood ain't right. Sometimes there's things about that house that the people in the town know about it that you don't know, so just different things. Okay. So 100 monkeys means I'm more safe in my mind. I'm more safe. Okay. I set a standard a few years ago that at all times, I would have 5 deals working in the pipeline at all times. That means if I got 5, I'll go take a nap. If I got 4, I'm working till I get the 5th one. Why? Because I know if I have 5 in the pipeline, I'm probably going to cash out at least. If I'm unlucky this month, if I'm having a shitty month, I'm still probably going to cash out at least 2, 3 of those. Okay. If we have another 9/11, I'm still going to cash out a couple of these. Okay. That's the beauty of 100 monkeys. All right. Anybody got any questions on this particular case study? Because I'd love to answer any questions that you may have something brought up. Yeah.
I have a question. So now you and her have put together your paperwork. In that state, is it a attorney state or is it a escrow state?
Iowa. Yeah. I don't, honestly, I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't go to that doesn't really involve me here because I'm assigning my part over to the tenant buyer and walking away. So between the tenant buyer and the homeowner, they'll have to figure out where they're going to close up at when the time comes. Okay. Yeah. So I don't really know. That'll be up to them. Now, how that'll have to happen, Victor, is once that tenant buyer gets in a position where they can qualify for the loan, they'll have to fill out a purchase and sale agreement and take it to the homeowner or send it to the homeowner and have them sign it. And in that purchase and sale agreement, it will say where the closing is going to happen. Because right now, all that exists is the lease agreement and the option to purchase, right?
Okay.
So it's not even a purchase agreement. It's just an option to purchase. So the title company needs or the closing attorney, whichever it ends up being, will have to have a legitimate purchase and sale agreement. So in our documents, in our closing documents, it says that the tenant buyer has to give them 30 days notice when they're ready to close, the homeowner. So how do they do that? By putting together a purchase and sale agreement with the right numbers on it and going over there and saying, hey, we're ready, sign here. Okay. When they sign there, then it'll go to a title company or it'll go to an attorney. I really don't know. I've never.
Do you guide them, or it sounds like at this point, once you get their deposit and you sign your agreement with them, you're basically just honoring your agreement with the seller, and the buyer is now kind of on their own. You kind of give them some referrals to credit repair or whatever, and you give them an instruction sheet or something for down the line, and say good luck.
Yeah, for the most part, man. It's a big boy game. So what I'll tell them is I'll tell them exactly what I just explained to you, the tenant buyers, that when the time comes, they get ready to qualify for the home loan, that they need to put together a purchase and sale agreement. They can get it from any title company or closing attorney around that they choose. And then send that over to the homeowner and they'll be good to go. I also explained to them that at this time, it is important that they go to a home loan lender of their choice. If they don't have one, and a lot of times I'm surprised these folks don't, okay, I'll say, okay, well, then you need to call Rocket Mortgage. Just Google Rocket Mortgage and call them. You can do that from home. You don't have to go to anybody's office or anything. There's probably some other options like that as well, but you need to go get a plan, okay? Because if you don't have a plan on how you're going to purchase this home, if you don't know what the things on your credit are that are holding you back, if you don't know how to clear those up, if you don't know how much down payment more you may have to add to the deal, okay, if you don't know how long this is going to take, then you're really going into this blind. So I highly recommend that you guys, in order to make a great decision, take 15, 20 minutes of your life and get a plan together. Okay. Now that is about the sum total. Plus I have a cover your ass letter, which is in my closing packet in Lease Options 2.0 course. So there's a cover your ass letter that they sign, the tenant buyer signs, okay, saying that they understand what I'm doing here. All right. And I'm advising them in this manner. I feel like that's about all I can do, because I can't force them to go call Rocket Law. I used to try that. I tried it. I tried forcing these people to call. At the time, it was Quicken Home Loans.
Right.
I wanted them to call with me on the phone, a 3-way conversation, so I could listen in and all this. And I realized that that's just not, it's one, probably not appropriate that I'm on the phone while they're talking about all their personal stuff. Right. But two, it's not really my responsibility. So I definitely advise them that way though, Victor. Okay. And I will be honest with you here and tell you that there's a good percentage of them that do go and call Rocket Mortgage, or they'll go find somebody. And then there's a fair percentage that go into the lease option deal. I know everything. We got this. We'll figure it out later. Whatever. Here's my cash. And they checked out in every other way. So, yeah, I guess they run their financial life differently than I would. But, right. but who's to say that they're, bad people because of that? I don't know. So yeah, and that's why sometimes these tenant buyers don't buy. They don't buy at the end. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? Mm-hmm. So will Pam and Jerry ever buy this house? Shit, I don't know. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. So Justin, let me ask you a question. How do you make sure that the mortgage is getting paid? See, if you send it to the homeowner, or you use an escrow company or a title company, how do you do that?
No. In this particular case, Pam and Jerry will be making their direct payment every month to Brian and Lisa via mail, or unless they set up something different. But right now, they're supposed to have a check mailed every month directly to the homeowner. I'm assigning my position in the deal to the tenant buyer. And so I'm not sandwiching this one. This is an assignment, a wholesale lease option. Okay. I'm assigning it to the tenant buyer. The tenant buyer is now responsible for the $1,200 a month, starting in the first of the month. And they're going to send that directly to Brian and Lisa. Okay.
Gotcha. So the only time you do that is when you're making a sandwich.
If I was making a sandwich, staying in the middle, why would I not stay in the middle on this one? Somebody tell me.
Well, with the rent values in that area.
Yeah, there's no monthly, it's $1,200 a month.
Cash flow.
Yeah, there's no cash flow. There's no real equity for me to stick around for on the back end or anything either. So this is an excellent example of a deal that has no equity in it. The payment is every bit of what the rent should be. And I'm just going to assign this deal over to Pam and Jerry. They're going to make $1,200 a month payments. They're putting $12,000 in my pocket. Okay. And then they're going to make $1,200 a month payments. And then in a couple years, maybe they'll have their life put together a little bit stronger, and they can go down to the bank or somewhere else and get qualified for the home loan. And then they're really financing the $179 that they still owe Brian and Lisa. Because I've already been paid today, or I will be on Friday. Does it make sense, guys, where I'm coming from?
Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How intensive do you look at their credit report on this one here? I mean, they got 12,000 and they're good to go, or do you kind of look deep at their report? Or
no, I don't really personally do it. What I do is I go to mysmartmove.com. It's a TransUnion, one of the major 3 credit bureaus. I go to mysmartmove.com, and they'll allow me to put the property address in, to put the details in of the lease and so on and so forth, and then check a box and says, do you want to pay for the background screen for the tenant, or do you want the tenant to pay? I'll check the one that says the tenant pays the background screen. Of course. Then it'll say, okay, what's the tenant's prospective tenant's email address? And I'll put the email address in there, hit go. It sends them an email. They open the email, and they'll both have one. Okay. Both Pam and Jerry, because they're both required to do this. So they'll go in there, open the emails respectively, click the button. It opens up an application form where they start filling it in. Okay. And when they're done, they hit submit. And in about, usually it's less than an hour, I'll get an email saying that they completed the application and here are the results. Okay. And the results will be the credit. It'll be the background screen. Of course, you don't have to do all this, but because you have options, what you want them to have to do. But it'll do all that for you. Now, it doesn't give me their social, necessarily even their FICO score or any of this. Okay. It doesn't tell me what their credit is, as far as like they've got a late payment on a car and they got a repo a few years back. I don't know any of that shit. It gives me a grade. Okay. It'll say this is a A customer. This is a B customer. This is a C customer. This is a D customer. This is an F customer. Okay. You do not, and then it'll say under the grade, it'll say TransUnion or MySmartMove does not recommend you doing business with this person based on their credit. Okay. So, I just read it, right? If it says these people are okay, then I'm like, these people are okay. We'll print off the information so it's available for the homeowner if the homeowner wants to see that this all was really done. Now, we go a couple steps further though, and we'll get their information on who they work for, and we'll just call, and about all you can find out there is if they work there. Okay. You're not going to get the people that where they work to tell you much more than that. And that's okay. You're not going to be able to say, hey, is this Johnson and Johnson's factory? Oh yeah, it is. We make baby lotion. Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm trying to talk to human resource. Okay, hold on. Okay. Hello, this is Janice from Human Resources. Yeah, Janice, is there I'm a landlord and there's a couple people, Pam and Jerry. And Jerry works there, and he says he makes about $5,000 a month. Is all of this correct? And they'll tell you right there. Well, we're not going to be able to tell you anything like that, but what we can do is we can confirm for you that Jerry is employed here. Okay, great. Thank you. Bye-bye. Click. That's about all you got, man. But we'll even do that because we want to know if Jerry's got a job.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to take $12,000. They make 3 payments, then they got to be kicked out. I don't want to put the owner in a bad situation, I guess.
No, you don't want to do that. No, not at all. If you can help it.
Right.
It's a gut wrenching feeling when that homeowner calls you back a few months up the road and has that story to tell. And I've had it happen, man. I've had it happen. And when you're getting started and you're new, you can feel a little desperate, and you'll take the guy because he's got the cash.
Right.
And you'll hope everything goes to plan. But I'm telling you, it's heartache because I've had him call me up and go, what the fuck have you done to me, man? And I'm like, who is this? This is Jim. A few months ago, you put these people in my house. I went over there today. They had 11 fucking dogs over there in the house, and it smelled like piss and shit. What are we going to do? And I'm just like, whoa. This is the first I've heard of it, Mr. Homeowner. You try to pre-screen these people. Okay. because that right there is some shit you don't want to deal with.
Yep.
You know, now ultimately, are you at risk here? No, you assigned your deal away. You're not even technically involved, but to him, you are. Not to any judge, not to any court, not to anyone anywhere, but him. And he's pissed.
Oh yeah. I just always like to try to do the right thing.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. You know, and so these are things you want to, that's a good question, Aisha. Yeah, we do ask for paycheck stubs. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you want to try to make sure these people are going to be okay in the house. You know, you can't be certain that they're going to buy the house, but you can at least be certain that they're decent, clean people, right? And the guy that I was just referring to, as far as the guy who was bitching because they had the dogs and then they weren't making the payment too. You know, I talked that guy down off the ledge, but it was hard. Okay, it was hard to do. All right. Eventually he wanted me to help him put somebody else in there, believe it or not. Okay. Because I was really that serviceable. Like I really tried to help this guy, but man, do you think I had fun doing any of that shit? Not at all. It was a drudgery. I hated it. I don't.
So did you charge another fee to put someone else in the home? Or you didn't?
No, I didn't. In fact, I was trying to. I had worked it out with the guy. He was calmed down. He had gone in there and cleaned the place out. Those people moved. He finally got them to move. It took like a couple months. And then I was working with him to put somebody else in there. But then before I could get it done, he changed his mind and wanted to do something different with the property. And, you know, I was like, hey, that's cool with me, Jim. You know, whatever you need to do, man, I'm just here for the ride, trying to help you out. I'd already made money on that deal. He had lost money on the deal. And, you know, I felt bad. So I was trying to help. Ultimately, he did his own thing. I'm sure he's fine. You know, it was a house he didn't need. It was like an extra. I think in that case, he had moved in with his woman. And so he had his old house he didn't know what to do with. And that's the one we did the deal with. And that one too was in the country. That was also in the country. So any other questions about this or any other topic involved in this? This has been pretty good. I think, you know, some of your questions are really good questions.
Yeah, so when we have the conversation initially, and I think I know the answer to this, but it may be on somebody's mind, but when we have the conversation where we sort of imply that we are taking a lot of the responsibility of the tenant landlord scenario off of their hands, I guess the value there is really the fact that we're putting homeowners into the property. They are not to be calling about toilets and doing stuff like that because they're now homeowners, not their responsibility. Do you address that with them like a conversation? Is that part of a package that you have? Or, you know, maybe you could speak a little bit on that scenario, because we kind of imply a few things in our initial conversation, you know, to close the deal up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I imply all that during the initial closing conversation. And then when we get to the paperwork, in the paperwork, it reads more definitely that the tenant buyer is responsible for the first $250 per incident of maintenance and repairs. Okay. Anything over $250 per incident is a responsibility of the homeowner. All right. Now, the reason why I do it that way is because I'm not as slick as some of these cats in here that are buying home warranties. Okay. Maybe that's even a better option, but that's how I word the paperwork. So when the homeowner gets to that and the tenant buyer, that almost 100% of the time comes up and they want me to explain that. And so here's how I explain it. I'll say, Mr. Homeowner or Mr. Tenant Buyer, you know, if the toilet breaks, that's the tenant buyer's responsibility because it's going to be $15 chain or handle. Okay. Or the guts in the toilet's going to be less than $30. Okay. If the sink starts dripping and it's annoying and it's making their water bill high, then they need to go buy a box of O-rings and go in there and fix that shit. Okay. If there's a tornado and the roof blows off, okay, that's not the tenant buyer. That's Mr. Homeowner and your insurance. Okay. Hailstorms, things of that nature also. If by some chance we're living in a house and the air conditioner doesn't work this summer, or it quits working, starts blowing hot, well, it's going to be the tenant buyer. Why? Because they need to call a service man, and he needs to come out, and that's $75. Now, at the $75 mark, he's out there and he says, yep, I just need to put Freon in it, and that's going to be another $97. Okay, we're still under $250. But if the service man comes out and he says, now this HVAC unit is shot, got to have a new one, all new, that's going to be $1,800. Okay, well, now that's the homeowner. Okay, that's how I explain it to them. And most of the time, they love that idea because generally speaking, the homeowner is confident in the roof, the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical, and the HVAC. They've been using it fine. So they're totally cool with that. That also makes the tenant buyer feel good about the main systems of the house. But it makes the homeowner feel more comfortable knowing that they're not going to get calls because the dishwasher stopped working on the rent cycle. I hope that helps, man. I don't know if I derailed off your original question or not, but.
Oh, no, you absolutely answered it. That was exactly what I was looking for. And you're right about the home warranty part, though, because it does cover a lot of, fills in the edges above the $500. It kind of protects everybody. And in terms of that, your relationship now, you're kind of developing a relationship. Do you service them in terms of being able to do anything with them later? Do you consider maybe them as a referral source sometime down the road? Do you maintain a relationship in case they know someone who can bring more business at no cost to you? Is that any part of your thinking, or is just on to the next one?
Homeowner or tenant buyer?
Either or.
Okay. The tenant buyer, I have tried many times to invent a credit repair scenario. Okay. And found it to be a fruitless endeavor for me. Okay. I've also tried to get in bed with a home loan guy and get referral money for sending people to him. Okay, that didn't work out either because I couldn't believe how lazy the fucking home loan people are. Like for real. We wouldn't even call, so I'm like, what the fuck? So I've tried to engage that tenant buyer a few different ways to monetize. And I've realized that all of those are just mostly, for me at least, a distraction from the real pay money, which is that non-refundable option fee. Now, as far as the homeowner goes, the best that I've ever done is just get like a testimonial or something like that from them. But there's nothing I have planned for either one of these parties to really make more money. Not really. I don't really have a plan to monetize that same set of people again. Yeah. And you might say that's one of the shittier parts of the business, maybe, is that you have to start over unless you're sandwiching and then,
Yeah, but that's a great answer because I know a lot of us come from the, full service attitude point of view, like we want to build out these businesses. I heard Ricky say something about doing the right thing. So we kind of have a mindset. And so we may actually be thinking that we're going to add all of these elements. It's good to know that you, with all of this experience in the background, have already, gone there, done that, and it really doesn't bear fruit for us.
Yeah, I've never seen it. However, I do know of successful lease option businesses that are run by people that are also mortgage brokers on the side, or in addition to, or what have you. So I'm just saying me not being a licensed mortgage guy, you know, or having a credit repair business that knows how to do the credit repair. I mean, it's simple how to do it, but I don't have a business that does this. I signed up for Lexington Law. It's my favorite credit repair place. I signed up for them to be an affiliate several years ago, thinking that at least I'll send these people to Lexington Law. You know how many I sold? Like none. Like, and I don't know if that's a testimonial to my shitty sales skills, or if it's like at least at the time, or if it's just a testimonial to these people will drink the water when they're ready. Like, I don't know. I mean, I thought for sure all of them would grab the chance that pay $100 a month and have this shit cleared off your credit. But people like to think about it and dilly on it and, you know, dally around and shit, man. I was like, you know, this is just a waste of my time. I'd rather go make another 12 grand, you know?
Yeah, that's a good raising the curtain scenario right there, because we have some fantasies about how we think it's going to work, especially, you know, as we put together these so-called full service business things, and, you know, really seeing that it's not really worth your time and or money to be investing in that part of the business. Like, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to refer stuff out. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I have had tenant buyers come to me and say, hey, I've got, you know, we just did a deal with them. Hey, this girl I work with, she's got some money to put down and she wants to get into a home too. Can you do this for her? And that sounds like a great opportunity until you start working it. Right. And then in some cases it may be, but, you know, in other cases, this chick is pickier than hell. I mean, and she wants one in the same neighborhood as the one I just did. And man, shit, I ain't got one in that neighborhood, you know? So, you know, I don't try to milk that cow more than once a day.
That's great. That's great info, man. That's, you know, because it kind of clears the forest before we start trying to, you know, cut down all these trees and build houses.
Yeah. So my business, I designed it basically to where I do just what I explained in that case study, rinse, repeat, just over and over and over, you know, and automate that. So again, more simple than you might imagine, you know, but most things that we like in life are real simple.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's up, Michael? You were going to say something, man. Michael Batista hopped in here.
Oh yeah. I was just saying, you know, certain things in this business don't really pay, you know, like you said, the credit repair, you know, some of these other things. Stick to doing deals and refer out all the other bullshit. You know, that's honestly trying to get them mortgage loans and trying to, you know, do all these other things. It sounds awesome. If you could help everyone, you know, oh, I can't do this, but I can do this. It takes away your focus. It really does. So yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, if you have that kind of a background already or whatever, and maybe you can have a specific department that does it, and you don't even have to be involved at all. Like, let's say you just have a manager that does all of that. You don't even got to think about it. Great. You know, you can do it. Otherwise, it just makes 100% sense to just refer that stuff out.
If I was a mortgage guy, I don't know why more mortgage guys aren't in this business. Because if I was dealing with home loan applications that are getting rejected every day, I'd be like picking up the ones that have cash down payments and piecing deals together reverse. That's what I think I would do. But I'm not a mortgage guy. I think Jesse Mills is a mortgage guy, and he does a lot of that, I think. And
he has a program. Yeah. I know enough about it to talk about it. But basically, he has some private investors, you know, doctors, lawyers, people that have money. And if there's a buyer that essentially does have some money like you're talking about, well, he can basically use that private money, go out and buy the property that they want, and
that's sweet.
And put a deal together. The problem is he doesn't have enough to do it, you know, deal after deal after deal after deal. It's okay. I've done a deal. Now that investor's money is gone. Now I got to find another investor. So he doesn't have like a hedge fund buyer that's willing to do that. That's the flaw in that business side. But you know, if he does have, you know, you hit him at the right time, he very well might have that opportunity. There's also some other investors that might do a short-term deal like that, but more often than not, it's just better to just keep the ball moving, guys. You know, keep trying to find other sellers that are motivated and put together your next deal.
Yeah, for sure. Does anybody got any more questions or anything before we wrap up here today? Been here for about an hour. I'd like to keep these to about an hour. Sometimes I have a 1 o'clock appointment too, like today I do, but I don't know if the gentleman's.
So basically, Justin, you're just saying you don't use a closing attorney until you're doing the sandwiches. Any other thing, you just have a wire transfer or something like that for them, the buyer to send to you or something? You do a wire transfer?
Yeah.
Or cashier's check?
Or PayPal or what have you. Yeah. I don't take cash. I don't take checks from tenant buyers. Okay.
No personal checks, just cashier's check?
Yeah, cashier's check or money order would be fine. Okay. But even then, you don't want to put a cashier's check or a money order in the mail and mail it to me. So most of the time, what they do is they'll pay me via my merchant account, which is maybe a little more advanced than what you guys might have to start out with. So you might start out with just PayPal or Cash App or something electronic. Okay, so they're not sending money orders through the mail. That's not very smart. So yeah, you just collect the money.
Company.
What was that, Mike?
There is an escrow company out there that exists. I can't remember the name though. That they could always do something like that. If I find the information, I'll throw it in the group.
Okay, cool.
Ron LeGrand closes all these. When he says closes these, he'll say, I'll close these with the attorney, and the tenant buyer gets down there, and he's not talking about the closing in 24 to 36 months. That, yes, obviously you have to use a closing attorney or a title company. But he sets his up where the tenant buyer sits down with an attorney and closes those lease options and assignment agreements. Okay. I don't do all that, man. I mean, that's a great show. It's a strong maneuver, but it's totally inefficient for doing this virtually, really. So, and it's not even necessary because, you know, you don't need an attorney to help you fill out a lease agreement and an option to buy something.
When you already have it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard. So, yeah. So I don't really use one until the tenant buyer goes to buy, they use one. So I don't really need an attorney or a title company or an escrow company or anything, because what I'm doing technically is I'm selling this paper, this sheet of paper right here that says, I'm looking for a sheet of paper, this sheet of paper that says lease with option to purchase on it. The seller has signed it. I've signed it. Now I'm going to assign this over. I'm selling this to the tenant buyer now for 12 grand. Okay. I'm selling this sheet of paper for 12 grand. That's exactly what I don't need an attorney for that.
Okay. So real quick, and I know it's past the hour mark, but I've done up to like a couple of $1,000s on PayPal. I've never done like, you know, $12,000, $20,000 on PayPal. And I do have a business account like that. Is that pretty common to use, that you can use PayPal for something like that? I know like Zelle, which I use a lot with some stuff that I do. They also have a limit.
You can do a wire transfer.
I really couldn't speak of PayPal with much accuracy at the moment because I haven't used them in a while, because I have a merchant account now where I can do it, because I was having problems with PayPal.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I jumped off there, so I can't really speak to what their limits may be today because I think they've changed some of this shit in recent history. But yeah, that's about
How
it,
can we
man.
get? How can I be down on the merchant account information?
Stripe.com.
Stripe. Oh, got it.
Stripe. Yeah,
I have an account with
that's it.
them.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
that's what I use it all the time, man. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
They put
Thank
you can send them an invoice in the email. They click the link, boom, 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 done.
Got it. Yeah, I'm good with that. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. Y'all be blessed. Nick, hang around. Okay, Nick, I'm going to boot you off. Come right back, okay? Because I have to refresh this room in order for us to not be putting it out on the Facebook group.
All right, Justin. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, love you guys. Have a great day. Good to see you, Ricky, Victor, Michael, Jessica, Rick, Sean, Timothy, Aisha. Whoa.
All right. Michael, check your email.
Okay, sounds good, man.
I will do that.
Focus.
Can't wait till the 15th, Mike. All right, guys, have a good day.